is good in primary, secondary, this type of study research, you can say. Now coming to the organizers, yeah, hospitality, very good. Food arrangements, very good. And I know it's taken a lot of efforts, from your side to have a hybrid mode of presentation, difficult to handle otherwise. But then there were no connectivity issues also over here. So things went on very smoothly. Good compare, okay. We had good people also here coordinating, so very good efforts taken by all of you. Good organization overall. So thank you from all researchers. I'm representing them, so thank you organizers. And good, the topic is open, so many of us could present on various topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sheetal Arundekar. I think we have a student participant also who would like to say a few words.
Indeed, it was a great opportunity to be a part of this international conference. As a student of Rosary College Commerce and Arts, I have gained a lot of insight with regards to the curricular as well as extracurricular activities. Hereby, thanks to the Department of Commerce for organizing such an event and a conference, for providing a platform for even for a student to put forth their efforts in the form of research paper. Yes, I got a bit confused, but it's okay to be not okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sandrio Fernandez. It's fine to get confused. That's how we all learn. Ms. Shrisha, would you like to say something? She's also another student participant who was there amidst us. Let's hear her.
It's really an honor to be part of this international conference, and at the same time I'm feeling proud. So because this is my first paper presentation, and this international conference gave me a big opportunity. And at the same time, I want to thank my guide, Assistant Professor Ms. Javeli Futado, for guiding me constantly throughout my study. Thank you, everyone.
I think they both, in fact, all three of them deserve a huge round of applause from our side for sharing their experience on all our behalf. Is there anyone else who would like to also share their experience, would like to say something? Or maybe somebody online? If no one else has anything to add, then I will wrap this up. Thank you all for your comments. Your positive comments have certainly motivated us for the future and will help us to do even better. In addition, a Google link will be shared with each one of you. Please fill the feedback form and submit the same at your earliest. As we are almost about to conclude for the day, we request our acting principal to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our chief guest for this valedictory program, Dr. Harip Khanapuri, Vice Principal Reverend Dr. Jeromino De Silva, our conference coordinator, Professor João Costa, all the lecturers and I can also say students who had presented their papers today for the conference, and teachers from our Department of Commerce and all the teachers present over here. Conferences like this tells us or gives us some new ideas. At the same time, it also gives an opportunity to our students to present papers. In other words, when this idea of conference came, when we were discussing about the conference, I said if students' papers are good, we'll give them a chance. The point of saying that was, see, we know that they are students. Sometimes they are our own students. But if they have not been given an opportunity, the question is they will never come up on stage and present a paper. So we as teachers must put that idea of students able to do some research work, and then when they are in college itself, they should be trained enough to write research papers, and that's how they will develop within them the concept of research. So in the past few years, even our MCOM department, we were not having dissertation. So from last year onwards, we have started dissertation. And for the next year, we are making dissertation compulsory for the MCOM students. So all the MCOM Part 2 students have to do dissertation for next year. This year, we had made a beginning. And we are going to continue it from there. So in other words, research is something that is happening here also. At the same time, we know that there are many students now, many scholars, many lecturers who are also doing PhDs. And this type of conferences gives them an opportunity to come and present their findings. When there is a discussion here, you also know where exactly you are and how much you have to move forward. So this type of, you can see, experiences helps the quality of research in a longer run. I thank the Department of Commerce. In fact, I'm not just thanking, but I want each one of you to appreciate the efforts put in by the Commerce Department to organize such a smooth international online, or I can say hybrid mode conference. So all of you give a huge round of applause for the Department of Commerce. At this stage, I'm also announcing in the next academic year, in the first semester, our MCOM department is going to organize the next international conference. In fact, our MCOM department was supposed to organize it before this academic year ends. Then I suggested them, if BCom Commerce department is organizing one, I told them to postpone their conference for next academic year. And that's the reason it has gone in the next academic year. I'm announcing it because researchers are here. You will get another opportunity because 3 people have given, you can see, a very good feedback. So I'm announcing it right now. For you also, you can also prepare the dates, the month, the topic, we will communicate to you, but it is also on a commerce-related topic. And each one of you, whoever is doing a research in a commerce topic, all of you are doing in the same area, we can start working on that. By September, October, tentative dates, exact dates we'll give you, we'll be having the next international conference at the same place. And that time also, I'm expecting all of you here for that conference. I don't want to say much because all of you have come in the morning. You want to run home because we have a little bit delayed because of the presentations. And I've also requested Harip to say a few words because I know he's a guide and he has a lot of things to inform, you can say, to tell you as young researchers. That's the reason I have requested him to say a few words. Only my humble request, see that the beginning that you have made in this research area, continue that. And for the young students, research is not going to end with one research paper. Continue that. Now you are going to complete your MCOM. That is a bright future for you. Register for PhD. And you will be able to write many more papers as you have gained some experience because you had already made a beginning. And that is what we expect. That's the outcome of such international conferences. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for always encouraging us. I take this privilege to invite our chief guest, Dr. Harip Khanapuri, to express a few words.
Thank you. respected dignitaries on the dais, and my friends from the audience. At the outset, let me thank the organizers for having me here as the moderator. I never want to miss that opportunity because I find that I'm amidst such a lot many good thinkers and a lot many researchers who are always ready to propose some new ideas, and maybe I could also benefit by taking some clues from the research that is going on. And to tell you the fact, I have got it even today. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me as well. That's what I would like to say at first. Secondly, of course, I appreciate the entire effort of the organizing team. Of course, starting with the principal, vice principal, and of course, my dear friend who is sitting here, Professor João Costa, who is the convener of this conference, and of course, the entire team, the compare, and everybody who is involved. I congratulate each one of you for having organized this conference wonderfully. Like Dr. Sheetal rightly said, organizing a hybrid conference is not an easy task. You have to coordinate quite many things. And of course, this whole exercise of inviting research papers, going through all of those, and then advising people on what to include, what not to include, etc. It's quite a lot of work. So I congratulate all of you for a wonderful work and a wonderful conference. Coming to the topics, yes, I've been witness to some of these topics during the moderating session, the second session. Wonderful topics. And what I can see now is that the young researchers are actually jumping into a lot of technical things. I can see people applying or in fact learning a lot of modern tools and techniques that are available in the area of research across primary and secondary domains. And I can see that people are, all of you are actually quite comfortable with applying these tools and techniques. And this is something that is really nice and very encouraging for the entire academic fraternity and the research community in general. Of course, my suggestion would be probably you can think of exploring your research problem a bit more, going beyond the review of literature and trying to build your own research agenda for the problems that you have taken. Like Dr. Sheetal has rightly said, many of the researchers have identified very good topics, and some of those topics which I found quite interesting were those relating to the land where you are, I mean the state of Goa. Of course, it's an international conference. You do take macro level topics, but at the same time, presenting your idea and your knowledge about the local field is equally important. So I'm happy that I could see that mix of topics, those connected to the state of Goa, those connected to the topics that are probably pertinent to this economy, and those that were also connected with the macro level environment, which must be the part of any international conference. So choice of topics was really good. The depth probably, you can think of exploring a bit more with reference to your research areas and with reference to the techniques as well. You can probably look at how some of the best research contributions in credible journals, how they have applied the techniques, how they write the interpretations. Probably you can have a look at that when you make your presentations as well, because that will give you some kind of guiding thoughts on how to interpret the data and how to be correct in your interpretations. So that is something that I would recommend to all the young researchers. One more thing that, of course, I'm just waiting for a conference that would break that trend of our audience, members in the audience remaining silent always, whenever the compare asks any questions. Okay, I come from an era where when I started the paper presentations, we used to have a lot of deliberations, debates, and at times even fights during the conference. Of course, I don't mean that you should take up that kind of line, but what I'm saying is that whenever somebody is presenting the research, it's not necessary, and you are asked to pose your questions, what probably you can think of is that it's not necessarily the question that I'm going to ask. I don't intend to criticize, and you should not. What I'm saying is that you should be at least contributing to some another exploration, another dimension to the study. I'm sure each one of you had some or the other thoughts, so I would have loved to see that kind of a contribution coming in. Let's understand one thing. Conferences are platforms for deliberations. They are not a monologue, neither a dialogue between the paper presenter and the moderator. They are the platform for deliberations. A lot of increasing participation from each one of you, even presenting your own viewpoint, would add value to the research that the presenter is undertaking, rather than pulling him or her down. In fact, that's what is a contribution that your valuable contribution would be to this particular platform. So I would request each one of you to do participate in future conferences that you might attend and present your viewpoint as well. And one more benefit that I would like you to take of these kind of platforms is, I mean, look at the kind of effort that the organizers have put up in organizing this conference. It is for allowing you an opportunity to network with each other. Gone are the days when probably we used to write solo papers and take pride in it. And probably we used to write papers, maybe joint papers with our colleagues from our own institutions. Today we need to collaborate with each other from across the institutions, because we do have some plus and some, a lot of things in store in different institutions as well. So international conference like this, I would say, now you all have come together, you all have presented your research work, you all have probably noticed who is good at what and who is interested in what kind of areas. This is an excellent opportunity for you to network, so try to take the advantage of this networking. And also explore the possibilities of networking with people outside the country, because that's where you will level up your way of identifying research problems and your way of looking at the research that you are doing. You will break the boundaries in terms of the kind of contribution that you would make with your research. So therefore, please explore the possibilities of networking with people outside, with universities or colleges, even outside the country. And do participate in those kind of conferences as well and see what the world is actually talking about in terms of research areas and topics. One more thing that I would like to tell you is that in terms of topics, probably look at the contemporary development. The international conference, this international conference was rightly titled as the contemporary issues in accounting, finance, and management. The thing is, look at the contemporary developments that are taking place. Look at some of the credible researches that are going on through the websites or through the research databases like Emerald or any other such credible databases, and you would know that there's lots to do. In fact, emerging areas like research in the family businesses, even for a place like Goa, for example, where, or India in general, where family businesses is one of the major component of the entire business segment, we do find very limited research in the area of family businesses. So you can look at some kind of, exploring your future research in this particular area. Financial markets have been studied extensively, but then what next is something that probably you can look at through the journal sites like that of, earlier hosted by II journals, now hosted by PR media. Those kind of journals which are published from US, Europe, etc. They give a lot of insights into what kind of future research that can actually take place in financial markets. So try to break this stereotype and get into those domains as well. Any research now in the financial markets, I would say, should bring out or should result in more of financial services and new financial products, etc. I mean, just imagine if Black-Scholes had not to research on option pricing. We probably wouldn't have seen a lot of such derivative products in the market, which are taking care of all these things. And we probably wouldn't have seen the improvement in the market microstructures if these people had not done that kind of a research. In India, we need that kind of a research in financial markets, which will actually improvise the market microstructure. Market microstructure itself could be a potential topic for research for you. So those are the kind of things probably I can hint with reference to the finance, so far as finance research is concerned. Similar are the areas in the similar are the issues in the areas of financing. Management or accounting or anything. Another thing that comes to my mind at this stage is with reference to accounting, you could look at the rising corporate frauds that are happening in India. In fact, A very recent publication in one of the financial newspaper highlighted that India is losing roughly about 100 crores a day in bank frauds. 100 crores a day in bank frauds. I mean, that's phenomenal and probably a very potential area of research to find out exactly what's going wrong and how actually you prevent these kind of things. So you can look at world over. In fact, today there are studies that are done internationally on corporate frauds, etc. But how much of research is actually happening in Indian context, for that matter? Or how many of us actually think of assimilating the research that is happening in the area of corporate frauds and trying to draw some conclusions and provide some insights to the Indian policymakers? So these are some of the things probably you can look at. Well, there's a lot more. Each one of you is a great academician, and there's a great researcher in each one of you. That's why you are here today and presented your work. And I'm sure you would take up these new possibilities in the area of research in future. I congratulate each one of you for presenting your work, and in fact, also thank you for bringing out your research. Your research that you have presented today has given clue to many to see how that project, that particular area can be explored further, and what kind of improvements in terms of techniques and research problems can be brought out in that research. And I'm sure a lot of publications probably also would come out from this. So congratulations, and thank you for participating in this. And thank you, organizers, for allowing me to share some thoughts. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir, for expressing your valuable thoughts and insights on research. I'm sure it has benefited all the researchers out here. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched, and it is so important to practice it. So we have with us the coordinator of this conference, Professor João Costa, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Harip Khanapuri, the Acting Principal, the Vice Principal, and my dear colleagues. What I have to say, you said it. I will say once again. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by the heart. So second time we are repeating this. Though it is a difficult task, I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to stand before you once again to propose vote of thanks at the valedictory function of this one-day international conference. At the outset, I thank the Almighty for His divine presence throughout the conference and throughout this day. First of all, I would like to thank today's chief guest and my friend Dr. Harip for gracing this occasion, and who was also the moderator of today's post-lunch session. Thank you, sir, for your valuable advice and inputs, which will help each one of us present here to improve our research and to do quality research in the future. On behalf of the administrator, the acting principal, vice principal, and the enthusiastic organizing committee, and all of us at Rosary College, I wish to thank all the dignitaries, resource persons, resource person in the morning and now, the participants and the principals of different colleges who wholeheartedly responded and participated. On behalf of the organizing committee, I place on record the contribution made by my colleagues from my department, the teaching and non-teaching staff, the system administrator, the librarians and the library staff, student volunteers, MTS, and janitors for the success of this conference. Last but not the least, my passionate organizing team consists of Assistant Professor Lorraine, Ansi, Moses, and Blanche. They were my in-house expert, and outside the college, my experts were Dr. Harip once again, Dr. Narayan from the university, and Dr. Shripad Marathe for their all kinds of helps, everything, and to see that everything goes well and as planned to the best of their ability. Today, since morning till now, you have seen how this organizing committee were doing ups and downs to see that everything goes well. Thank you once again. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than grandest intention. God bless each one of us. Thank you, one and all, once again.
Thank you, Professor João, for your gratefulness towards everyone who made this conference a successful one. I'm very grateful for having had this opportunity to host this event. Would like to leave you with this quote: "Never stop learning, because life never stops teaching." So keep smiling, keep learning. I, Assistant Professor Zamila Pacheco, signing off as your host for the day. Thank you and stay blessed. Have a great evening ahead. So all participants, please note, you may collect your pay receipt, participation certificate, and attendance certificate from the registration counter outside the hall. Please note this, okay? Thank you.